Inti għalawlek in-nies.
Is-song kbira, song it-tik.
Il-qata li tajtni meta semmajti li l-ewwel darba in a good way.
Is he trying to sabotage me? Mara miġnuna it's giving. If I don't speak my truth, it's not
Yes.
speaking, so...
We are authentic here, so we
Exact.
have to be authentic.
Sinjura.
You were gagged.
I was gagged and throwing up in the toilet. Ohi, għajjajt. Daw, it-tejn kif għettilom isma tkellimni waħda mlu li jek.
Selmu lek minnaw.
Inselmu lek, sinjura.
Bonġu Malta, jena Johan u nilħakom għal episodju ieħor ta' Pop Girlies, ċans għalina biex insirna fuq aħjar nisa mix-xena tal-ispettaklu f'Malta. Illum għanna episodju speċjali immens, pero qabel ma nintroduċi l-persuna li għanna maħna, ġast xtaqt nirringrazzja ħafna li Jana's Jewelry li qiegħda tisponserja l-episodju tal-lum. Hello to Jana, x'naf li issegwi l-episodji tagħna. Bażikament Jana għal min ma jafx hija designer tal-jewelry li la stabilita f'Malta l ħafna żmien, tagħmel kollox handmade, għandha ovvjament il-website tagħha li ħanamlu ilkom hawn isfel. This is a sign for Nina to put the box underneath. janasjewelry.com. U għandaw kol zewċ teħwienet, wieħed l-imsida u wieħed Birker Kara. Ovvjament, ġili naħseb f'episodji oħrajn qed nirrealizza llum minn sejt nilbisa, pero f'episodji oħrajn will cut to it. Kemm il-darba nilbes in-necklace tagħha għandi rainbow chakra necklace li vera toġobni. Very gay. U yes, nirringrazzja ħafna Liljana, ovvjament, u ovvjament dejjem ninkoraġġikom biex tissapportjaw small businesses oħrajn bħal Tajana. U issa aħjar nibdew għax qed nara il-guest tiegħi vera irrankata u eċitata biex nibdew nitkellmu. It's very surreal for me li għandna dan il-mument illum għaliex ili nara dil-persuna tifjorixxi, etc. Pero the past few months have been a roller coaster and a whirlwind for her, to say the least. Ma nafx kif għabat nintroduċi aktar. Nilqaw magħna lil Mirjana Conte.
Hello. Hello.
Kif aħna hi?
Mux ħażin, tant, you're right?
All right. Jienet nirrealizza li l-aħħar darba li poġġejna qudiem xulxinek.
Help.
Yes.
It was giving pre-semi-final ta' Malta.
Eżatt, ġimgħa qabel, ħafna stress, imma
Panik
imma rajtek konfidenti to a level li qatt ma kont rajt qabel diġà at that point naħseb.
Ija, għarat, it took a lot. It took a lot for me to arrive to the state of mind. Għax, ovvjament, growing up, I was always very insecure. Ġifiri, inti kont il-persuna li throughout the years, ġifiri, kull meta tħalt fil-Eurovision, you were always there backing me and supporting me.
Justice for Venom, thank you.
Justice for Venom, thank you, 9th place, grazie. Imma, the thing is, xorta meta kollok in-nies jissupport jawk jisu, it's not enough. You need to believe it for it to work. Ġifiri nkelli tim ta' nies tal-bliħ, imma kiku I didn't put my magic in kif jgħid l-muxu. It wouldn't have worked the same. But it was a collective effort from everyone to make what we made happen. Immeħe, it took a lot. I had to train, I had to dance for the do a dance break. Jina jek taraw il-filmati tal-Eurovision ta' qabel, kon notek.
Somma ta'
Il-Chloe kont inġela.
l-aħħar sentej ta' qabel. Venom u s-sena ta' qabel, kont edha tidħol naqra
Ija,
bil-mod il-mod.
Imma still, għalija, għaxin dejjem Mirjana l-kantanta qabel kollox. Iġifiri, all the glitz and glam and the wigs and the outfits, those come after. Jina, klir li għalaw li ħafna n-nies sewa.
Le, inti għalaw lek in-nies.
Imma, jina, I don't really care, so għatma tajt kas. Imma jek xaħtiet li xaħġa fuq leħnija. Inweġġa ħafna. So jina dejjem Mirjana l-kantanta qabel kollox. So first and foremost, if they wanted me to do that performance, I had to train. Fimt, I had to put my all. Imma bis pero I had to practice what I'm preaching. Ġifiri għal xej ħanqot ngħid il-kulħadd isma' kunu konfidenti, ħobbu ġisimkom, ħobbu lilkom infuskom. If I walked on stage with something black, ma nisfinx u ma nitċaqlaqx. So I literally had to rewire my brain. All those years of trauma and being anxious and not loving myself had to be rewired into who I am today. Work.
Eh, U l-performance ta' Malta, it was quite, kif taqbattejt, it happened, safina fin in a few weeks, the whole,
The concept.
the concept.
We couldn't għax the song is song kbira, song it-tik.
ċajta.
Imma tant.
Il-qata li tajtni meta semmajt li l-ewwel darba in a good way. In a good way.
Għax in-nies ovvjament li huma iktar close u iktar involuti, I gave them the insights, ovvjament li jisimgħu d-diska l-ewwel darba huma u jgħidu ngħidlhom x'taħseb.
Ħassejtni isni qed nara episode ta' Drag Race meta joħorġu b'diska jien I'm like.
Low-key manifesting li tindaq fuq Drag Race. It's something I manifest every day and it will happen.
It has to happen. It has to happen.
U tipo, is-song kbira ħafna, so to have an idea is very difficult. Ġifiri dik il darba we sat down countless times, kulħadd joħroġ bidejat differenti and we cannot solidify a concept. Ġifiri, the concept was meant to be completely different than what it is, but it was too vanilla for the song, fimt? Imma Umbat, niftakar u konna ndumu, ġifiri, konna morru ġifiri kafeteria, ġol airport konna ndumu konna morru xil-10 ta' bil-lejl u nitilqu xin jizbaħ, basically, ma' team and we cannot solidify a concept. Mbagħad darba, Steve għalinna, I think I have it. Il-tqajna kollha l-airport u.
Għat jistenna ġifiri sa' kem.
Ija, we had to sit down for it. U kullħat ħassu ħajrametti, kif għalinna l-ideja. Dawar l-screen u naraw it-tfal ta' Sound of Music u għetlu. U xiex. Għalli, trust me, għalli it's going to work. Oh, at that point, I was like, is he trying to sabotage me?
But it was also like this or nothing, or I just stand on stage.
Le. Kien hemm idea oħra, but they weren't as powerful. U mbagħad iktar ma we were getting used to ma tista' timmaġina John Dor, il-Mux u Chloe, kulħadd Sound of Music serving kant. Umbat, it was making sense kif ninżaw u kif jiġu dancers lipsin u l-blalen, anka tal-ideja tal-ballon, that was random, id-difiri gravi, it was random. Can I cuss on this episode?
It's fine.
Random as frick, le, ma smani, ma vera. U dak Jandor, I mean, I don't know if you ever encountered Jandor in your life. Basically.
Hello, Jandor.
Sara Bonnici għalet xaħġa vera tajba l-axħar darba waqt MTV. Kull min ikun madwar Ġandor ikun qed jitħaq. Vera. He makes people smile and happy u hekk. U konna morna l-ewwel rehearsal ta' sfin u morna ġo studio tal-gymnastics għax waħda miż-żeffina li kelli Malta tallem il-gymnastics ukoll. U dit tista' timmaġina ħbula u daw ir-rings imdendlin u blalen u hekk. U Ġandor randomly just poġġa fuq il-ballun but his hair serving kant. U tipo Steven għalimna, that can work. Morna nixxu l-blalen, and when we saw it all together, we were like, how weird, very Eurovision, and it's going to work for sure.
Ħajin?
Il-blalen ser u għomli, inti taf li ser u għomli.
Mi? Xiex?
Ma nafx. Jiena tħalt fi-dressing room, wara l-final, no balls.
Mill-ewwel ġifieri.
Where the balls were.
Mill-ewwel ġifieri.
Ija.
Lej, mela RIP, għaxin l-axar li rajna apart from on the performance, meta fil-final ma nafx ġaraħim minnom jowa għal-kamera mennu f'daqqa wahda tara.
Oh, ta' Malta.
U tara l-blalen on the side. So, wara dakinhar, jek just.
No balls. No, where? Lele,
If you know where the balls are, and you haven't sold them yet on eBay or something,
Jaf kem għamlu flus minnom jek beħe, u għame ikunu daw l-Eurovision Fanatics u għek, min jaf.
Hemm xi ħadd hekk f'xi nofs Sweden jew ximkien bil-blalen tiegħek.
It was a part of the merch fil-verità. Meta konna din Basel u mbagħad għamilna l-blalen bis-serving u firmajthom inżilġu l-press center, kulħadd bil-blalen hekk nieżel u ndejt intihom in-nies. Imma ir-roża u minn fejn xtrajthom Malta, mhux ħansemmi ħabba l-sponsor, grazzi. Minn fejn xtrajthom Malta, tipo naħseb the biggest expense throughout this experience was the balls.
Nistija?
Għax dejjem jisirquhom men, morru fejn morru. Anka morru barra minn Malta. U ġifiri we deflate them u just nsibu neqsin. So ħin kollu nixxi l-blalen. U l-gbarnet minn fejn nixxuhom qasbis baqalhom. Qasbis baqalhom.
There is a shortage.
Lele, there is a shortage of pink balls, pink yoga balls. naħlef, għax kulħadd minn dal-post partikolari bih il-pink yoga balls u ma nistax insib iktar. So jkerġu jisirqu li I'm screwed big
Damn.
time. Yeah.
Insomma, mbagħad sten tal-Eurovision homor, le? Jew bil-lighting ġew jidru homor.
Bil-lighting.
Istra?
They were pink.
They were still pink.
Dak mux tellajni għom aħna, dawk jihdu dawk ġabu għomna.
Professional. Imma, you're like,
Eżatt.
isma, so, tidu t-preparawlna sitt blalen, please?
Propja provajni għom sofor fil-bidu, ġifri jek tara xi ritratti tal-ewwel rehearsal. Provajni għom minna l-parrokka u provajna bil-blalen sofor, but that combination didn't really work.
No,
Yeah.
a bit like Spanish flag.
Eżatt, na.
It's giving Spanish flag. Et fakkarni, jien naħseb kienem ħafna momenti u high points li ġraw from MESC għal, ovvjament,
ħafna.
Mejju anki wara Mejju. Pero jien naħseb hekk il-high point li rajt, again, għax anki bdejt nara ħbib tiegħi li jgħixu barra minnhom li Eurovision qas għandhom idea u f'daqgħod bejdu li hi Mirjana, jien għedt okay. Naħseb il-pre-parties ġara xi ħaġa, naħseb Avoli jeħe kien hemm music video and there was the hype, naħseb il-pre-parties isu ħadd ma stenna li ħadd itfa' daqshekk creativity u attitude.
Yes,
Fihom.
it's very important. Ġifiri daw spiċċajna aħna illi kull pajis they were in awe of us. Ġifiri kienem minnom kontestanti partikolari ma kienu xikellmuna because they were that scared.
Damn.
Imma others which were like l-lum il-ġurnata jien għandi grupp ċet esempio ma Sisal, Kyle u JJ, ġifiri I speak to them every day. Dak bqajna close, ħafna. Imma I always wanted to be the person to break barriers. Ġifiri, inti meta smur pre-party, you have to like prove that you are one of the best and you are worthy of the title.
Mhux hekk?
Imma, something that someone never did was invite other contestants on stage. So, aħna bħala team kollettivament iddeċidejna li isma, let's get all the balls and let's invite people to jump on them, the other contestants to jump on them.
Were there fights from people to get onto the balls because they wanted to...
Kienem min jħoli,
Mm.
kienem min jħoli, ma tajdilom xieġifieri.
Yeah, ma tsaj kemm il-darba.
I tried my best,
Eżatt.
imma tlet pre-parties kif
Eżatt.
ma nistax namel ħafna qwa minn hekk.
Yeah.
So student il-sħabi, student il-ta' Sweden, il-Kaj.
Le,
Ġifieri-
there was clearly a lot of thought, imma fl-istess ħin ma kienieċ tidher jew tinħass scripted jew vera
Daqsxejn.
strateġika, it was just feeling it and
U jien
going with
fil-verità anka meta kien ikolli rehearsals għal pre-parties, ġifieri aħna għamilna dance break, in-nies ħasbu li ħana nagħmel dance break fil-final. Ma we couldn't għax imbagħad titnaqqas parti mis-song għax hekk bid-dance break ġiet twila, which was allowed for a pre-party,
Yeah.
wasn't allowed for Eurovision obviously. Allura, anka meta kont nagħmel rehearsals ma' Chloe pereżempju, nippjanaw choreography mod, imma mbagħad nagħmel li jiġini ġo moħħi. Mara miġnuna it's giving.
imma
Imma
għal-ħaris ma tkunx hekk,
that's why
onestament.
people love it. Imma jien ħanejdlek u nibqa' ngħidha ġifieri my team is chef's kiss għax together tipo bl-strengths kollha tagħna we made that happen, which is insane. L-outfits, bellezza, il-creative concept, bellezza, choreography, wow. Kollox kien wow, hekk, make-up, kollox kien tajjeb. Allura hekk niġi emotional meta nħares lejhom għax ngħid istra kemm għandna talent Malta and it's not like appreciated as much. Sempliċi ta' dawk kienu jiġu fuqna delegations oħrajn jgħidulna what is your budget? What is your budget? Where are the payments? Where are the budget? We don't have budget. We made something, eżempju, jinnaf, something cheap look expensive.
Ija.
It's very simple. It's the way you execute something. Mandek xalfej tkun libsa ħettu tow Balenciaga, per eżempju. You can make something which is not Balenciaga look Balenciaga, per
It's
eżempju.
giving Drag Race Sewing Challenge done well.
Yeah.
Yes. Xejdu l-unconventional materials
Eżatt.
done well. It-team, when did the team come together close to the... Ovvijament safejna fin beda kollox mid-songwriting camp.
Eżatt.
Id-diska. So, but how soon did that turn into the team? Or the team came together once Lim, but you were announced as a semi-finalists.
The team was very randomly put together. Iġifiri, jina per eżempju, most of the performances ħanejdu għek, eżempju, kien iħit li Marko. Chloe minn 2022 Eurovision kienet tamil il-koreografiji. She was just 16. So I had already a team of people. Imma mbagħad with the level we had with Kant, tipo l-muxu kien iċempil li f'nofs il-lejl jgħid li eżempju, you need Steve on this project. You need Steve on this project. U ġandor, eżempju, jina inni nafu snin twal, ġifiri inni nafu minn dukelli 13, u battaf kif jisek il-grupp ma jibqax u timmata u għek, ma dejjem bajna ħbib. U I need John on this team, because if someone understands Kant, it's ġandor. U mbatt Ġan u Marko għadmu fl-imkien, Chloe, il-muxu, imma we still couldn't solidify a concept, u l-muxu baqa jgħidli, speak to Steven, you need Steven.
Istra ġifiri.
Ija.
It kept on.
Ija.
Muxu kept on pushing, basically.
U jien, tipo, I was like, U minn dem xaqt naħdem ma' Steve, jina għadni sissa I look up to Steve ħafna, bravissimu, uħut mill-isbaħ proġetti li rajta u Malta u ma ta' Steven, he's amazing. U baħtlu, hello Steven, ġili tkellimna qabel, għandek ftit ċans nil-taqaw nitkellmu, għalli mela, ftemna fej. U morna nil-taqaw, għetlu tipo, this diva is on a budget, xina ma neġiġ minn familja ta' tajjeb, jina that's the truth, u nibqa' ngħidha, illi fil-bidu jekk issib nies li jemnu fik alla volja minn tixħa tippompjalhom il-flus. Cherish them, and when you're at your highest, ibqa' cherishjahom, ibqa' ħobbhom u bqa' tihom what they deserve. So, kont onesta miegħu, qedlu l-istorja tiegħi, qedlu fuq l-istorja tad-diska u qedlu I want you on this project because I know you can make magic with it. U għalli, let me think about it, għax kellu diġa ħafna artisti Steven mill-Eurovision. So, I was the 6th, I think, act he had. U għalli għax irrit nara l-ħax tipo, u bdejt nitlob il-Rosario, l-Ave Maria.
L-Angelus.
U nitlob. Umbat, somehow, randomly it was put together, ġifiri mbat il-tajna kolla u tried out the first rehearsal u għedna okay. So t-team jisu naqad very, very late, anka eżempju xar kelli l-Geri lu jemmen fija fi żmien l-X Factor, u li jen, eżempju oħra, dejjem xtaqt li tamil il-make-up, umbat.
Istra, u again, ili nafek imma l-xi raġuni kelli l-impressjoni li kulħadd kien ilu jaħdem, ma nafx kif ġiet, issa jew għax tant there to you were on the same page li it seemed like you were working together for a long time.
Aw Malta titqis li aħna żgħar, so they all met in separate projects, ġifieri per eżempju Steve, Ġan u Lien probably ġieli ħadmu fuq proġett ieħor, jien naf Chloe u Ġandor forsi kienu jinserta one set x'imkien flimkien ukoll. So, mbagħad eżempju Lien sema tiddiska u qatlu I want Mirjana, I want to work with Mirjana taf kif u kien diġà kellima li rrid naħdem magħha tipo. U mbagħad ingħaqad it-team kollu and I was like so happy għax kollha bravi ħafna and there was no bad blood between no one. Ġifieri flimkien the energy was pumping. So that's how the team came about basically. It was very random and it's really worked. Random things work, guys.
Yes. I mean, speaking of random things, how do you feel that you created the Eurovision meme of the year by just saying Beauty Blender on a live?
Ma naħlef imġin il-fans tal-Eurovision like they are crazy.
They are
crazy.
Queer, they are chronically online.
Literalment.
And most of the time they are also bored and need to find a way to...
Eżempju, taf kif ġili tella story bizballu tħassru ġi sekondi wara, I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So, irrit noqot attenta li ħantella jagħmel sens jew li biex ħanaħseb biex inneħħih wara. Because they will take the content.
Yes.
They will take it. Dak, il-Beauty Blender, inti taf kif ġrata il-Beauty Blender, were you in the live?
Niftakar konċ fih jew le, għax naħseb xi wieħed insertajt żgur kombinazzjoni, imma ma naħsibx li insertajt il-moment.
Di live. Mela, jiena basically xari iswed tuta. Alright, my hair is very, very black.
Le, dik rajt eżatt when you.
Kontet insu għal Branch After Dark, niftakar kelli performance ma' Triana u Patricia.
Niftakar jett jippruvaw jifmu kif inti sejra performance ħatibda dal-waqt.
Ħatibda dal-waqt.
Wadek on the way.
Għattilom għajmin għonek t-tgerbi putasal, spiegħalom. So, u wicċi qabbijat. Ġol karozza bidlamet is-suq ġejd, it-tfajla tijaj, u ċat beda jiktib li, you look like an egg, you look like an egg. U moħħi u l-ADHD, egg, beauty blender. I look like a beauty blender, għettilom, u daqsik. And it turned into a whole thing, ġifiri il-grupp tana beauty blenders. Ġifiri, issa spiċċajta ta' point li meta mmur inkanta ġodaw il-prides wara l-Eurovision ituni il-beauty blenders, ituni ċpiepet, beauty blender, so that's basically it.
There's a lot of commercial opportunities.
Iva.
I must say.
Inħossom.
Jekk it-tarawna, dejjem ħob namela, ma anyway. Jekk it-tarawna, xi tricks li ma tellek toħroġ b'xi lajn ta'
Issa niltaqa' magħha.
tassew. Hupla.
Hupla. Nwerżaqna.
Sen, has it been out like which għax naf li hemm venues differenti li ħajkun hemm?
Jiena, għax dak there's like an amount of days
Eżatt.
rajti Hupla. Jiena suppost on the 27th ħankun. So.
Għax naf li rajt posters ta' xi ġranet oħrajn who's gonna be in which venue. You know who you're gonna be,
Ija.
but you can't say yet, ma nafx kif.
Tiet.
Oh god.
Oh, hi kbira. Oh, hi.
Ifim, nissa by elimination nippruvaw we try and
Ija.
work it out.
It's crazy. Xina inni nara Drag Race like mimdu kelli xi 12. Tista' timmaġina, so anke meta ltqajt ma' Simon u ek, moħħi beda jinfaqa, tipo I was so starstruck.
U hemm mhux ħażin li they've covered it as well.
Courtney Act, I mean, nibda nġennen, I don't know how to react. I've never met, tipo, big celebrities, allura nibda nġennen u Frankie Grande was in the same womb of Ariana. So, tista' timmaġina kif nħossni jena. Wow. Għadina għadni sissa ta' like għadni ma ġejċ ftijaj.
ċempilla jew xi ħaġa biex almenu tkellmek xejn. That's a bit too much.
Hohi, I don't
Għal
touch.
darbohra, hi Frankie, jek tarana. We will put the subtitles just for you. Imma, li jett iġeni f'moħħi mbagħad ukoll huwa how crazy it was that the song just took a life on its own. Literally, kif ħarġet id-diska, like laqqas chance biex imqar tkun on stage.
I have a footage on my phone somewhere of me puking.
I have seen it slightly, imma
On the
neħet
day.
il-mobile.
Ija.
Biex I don't
Lele,
gag.
full on irramettejt. Għax,
Sorry, jek qed tieklu.
għax ħanejdlek. Tipo, thank God, għax nirringrazzja l-Alla kull darba li submittijajt song għal-Eurovision dejjem għaddiet li u dejjem kont finalista, so I'm very blessed. Għax, ovvjament, għaw ħafna minn daħal u ma jirnexxilu xie jasal semmek, so I'm very blessed and grateful li dejjem kelli da chance. But I never had any hype on me. So I didn't know what to feel, how to react, għax jina dejjem għed, kant jew ħatkun flop, jew ħatkun a very successful experience and song. So meta bdew tilajn il-views. U jibatu l-nies, la ġifiri, like il-mobile bzz, techno party bida jam il-mobile waħdu. Allura I was like, I didn't know how to react, nirrametti, like I couldn't stop puking, honestly, għax it was a lot.
You were gagged.
I was gagged and throwing up in the toilet.
Vera, sorry, jek qed tieklu, għax naf li għaw mija, min jgħidli, jien noqgħod naraħ ta' nkun qed insajjar jew nkun qed nikol, sorry. Imma that is what she lived through.
Literalment, and if I don't speak my truth, it's not
Yes.
speaking, so.
We are authentic here, so
Eżatt.
we have to be authentic.
Signora.
Yes, holding space. Then, kif edha, how did she do it? Holding space, ta' Ariana Grande u Cynthia Erivo, meta zaqra kif ħares lejja. Ma tafx. This is
Very too wicked.
holding space for you having to go through all of the puking. Thank you. Ma kellniex pawza ta' reklami, ġas Mirjana qabada l-ġo ħanna lottijiet hawnhekk in honor of I think, wow. I need some singing lessons very badly. Jien kont inkanta ta' xi darba.
Yeah.
Inkanta. Kont nselmilhom minnaw. kont fil-kort tal-Knisja taraħal ġdid. Kont l-unika tifel, ovvjament. Għadni niftakar sissa kien ikonna rehearsals nhar terba' fil-għaxija.
You're joking.
No, I'm not joking. Sa kem kelli 12, le, jiena meta kont żgħir, I was a performing arts kid.
Josra.
I mean, għax minnom kena daqxej ta' pawza teknika, semmit li Wicked, u għet li keħe, sortunatament għadni ma rajċ il-film. Lallu, diqqat semmejta jien, għadni birva naħseb. I don't think I've mentioned it publicly. Jiena aħna konna minna school production, kont immur nitallem u għamilna production ta' Wizard of Oz, min taħseb li kont jien.
Ma nafx.
Guess. Eja, one guess, so at least. Think big. Wizard of Oz, not Wicked.
L-actual.
Elfaba.
Vera.
Għamlu li wicċi aħdar, għax li ġara u li jina, until I was 12, my voice was very high-pitched.
If xidweja, istra taf kem naf boys jiġrilom ek.
Umbat my voice broke, u kifet nejla kont immur il-kor u dawn kanta deċidejt mulej, minn ħunju. Imma, my voice broke and that's it. I didn't know how to tackle it.
Boys waqfu jikkanta ek. U, eżempju ħantik, Justin Bieber. Dak kienem record companies like refusing to give him a record deal fil-bidu.
Ħabba l-vuċi.
Ħabba l-vuċi, imbidillu leħnu ovvja. Jena, I will always be a believer.
Istra.
Imma ta' żmien li kellu xarru ek, jisu Klinsman.
Yes.
Ek,
Il-mushroom.
Ek. Il-pija ma jġbuni xtawara, daw jġbuni biss. Fimt?
So yes, I was alpha. That's what naħseb għandi rekordju taħħa di ġejt, ġifiri.
Vera, laqas ritrat.
Irrit nistaqsi, I was going to say, jiena vera kont tħaqtu fl-istessin, it was a nice moment, meta everyone was shocked, Mirjana has a girlfriend, and I'm like, Mirjana has been LGBT for a very long time. Ovvjament, you know, things changed this year, a lot more people got to know who you are, so f'daqqa waħda, it became a headline u dal-affarijiet.
Lili, kien hemm min beda jgħid għall-attenzjoni, kien hemm min beda jgħid Alla jbirek issa da girl. Tipo, dude, you don't even know what I've been through and my life. Tipo, ovvja, f'daqqa waħda ma se tiġi flying, kulħadd isu they start figuring out things about Alla jbirek. So, yes.
Imma, għax niftakar u koll, at one point kanna konverzazzjoni dwar labels and how, you know, you've never felt comfortable, jina u koll, hija xi ħaġa li d-dejjaqni. Ma nafx, where did it start for you li qisek irrealizzajt li, you know, you are queer or LGBT, ek ma nafx, how has that journey been for you?
Jina nemmen xi ħaġa, jina nemmen li ħadd huwa straight fid-dinja. Imma how beautiful would it be to live in a world where you don't have to label yourself?
Yep.
Jina d-deċidejt dis-sena li I do not want to label myself għax qed li l-nifsi tipoġġo kategorija illi għamilt 7 snin noħroġ full-on ma' nisa biss. But so I had to idolize the fact illi I don't like men, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, tipo women biss. And I was lying to myself, tipo, għax alla volja emmi sa stigma illi xaħat ikun gay, u xaħat ikun lesbian, u xaħat ikun trans, jew whatever. Em stigma u koll illi if you spend a long time dating women only, jekk f'daqqa wahda you start dating men, fake, tipo taf xetnejt, tipo ta' parsi mela kienet toħroġ man-nies. So jina bżajt, ma batet taf xiex. I'm lying to myself to look good in people's eyes and it's really not worthwhile. Għax, realizzajt dis-sena li I do like men, but I also like women. So, and I don't classify as bisexual because I have certain specifications for both ends. Tipo, da jidħol, there's sexual elements, there's a lot of elements, and I do not like to get into detail with all of it. I just like and fall in love with whoever I fall in love with.
Yes.
And I do not have to explain myself. Turns out that after this period, il-tqajt ma' Jade, I've had a crush on Jade for 6 years. Allura,
Lallu.
ija,
Damn.
naqa, u kienet f'relazzjonijiet twal, u engaged, u bla 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 bla.
Damn.
So, yeah. So I thought I lost my chance. Umbat, meta rbaħt, ġili konna tkellimna qabel fuq Instagram, eżempju, happy birthday, congratulations, happy birthday, haha reaction fuq story ta' Wow.
Merry Christmas!
Literalment, jew graduat u għettila, congratulations.
Għati kasi.
Literalment. U kont naraħħa barra u nitqilla and she has a resting bitch face ma gravi, twaħxek. So kont nejt, għabar mistramba dina. Oh, and I was done with women in football, to be honest, but that's a whole other topic.
Damn.
Like, toxic.
Tista' tikteb teżi.
Teżi, tista' tikteb xejdulu il-testament il-qadim u il-testament il-ġdid. Gravi. Anyway, so I was like, vera. And at that point in my life, I was done with women, I was done with men, I was done with pretty much everything. I was happy alone.
Yes.
I was very happy alone. I came to this point in my life that I was very protective of my energy. Jek ma rridx immur noħroġ ma' sħabi, nqgħod id-dar waħdi, nqgħod nagħmel self-care. I was finally, għax qabel ma kontx hekk jiena, su saqfa jaqa' fuq rasi, għasik kolli n-nas laqwa li nkun għadha mal-kumpanija tan-nies, but I was like over that. U qed inqalleb biex tista' taħseb wara l-irbaħt il-mobile reġa' techno party.
Yes.
U qed inqalleb hekk. U nara Jade Flask u qed u tħalt fil-message u qalt li brava. Qedtila thank you. U qed sibt ħadd qafem tal-konversazzjonijiet ta' qabel. Congratulations, thanks. Haha. Taf kif? Oh, I didn't think much of it. Qalt li naħseb jien qed intellaħħom lit streams, qalt li għax fissajt fuq għad-diska. U bat,
Smaħħa hi.
eddi kem ħat il-batin. Umbat, again, jibatu li ħafna nis u nitlef iċ-ċetta ġejdu ma nerġax nibatila. Intella xaħġa story u tamilli reaction. Nerġa nitlef il-ċett u terġa tibati b'xi moti. Għalt li isma' hej.
How the tables have turned.
Għalt li isma' hej għalt li għandek WhatsApp int għalt li ħanqot nibatlek jumejja jumejle. Għettili għet l-ħantik il-numru. Għalt li see you on the other side. Insomma, bat bajna nibatu fuq WhatsApp, ma kellix skuża li qed nitlif il-aċċett bat. And to be honest, I didn't want a relationship. I was traumatized, man, tipo għajjejt, nidħol fil-għajjejt.
Out now on Spotify.
Out now on Spotify, I'm on serial platforms. Imma I was done, like, going into relationships fil-bidu xeba love bombing u ma tkunx taf fiex inti dieħla, but 2 years down the line you wasted 2 years of your life. Mux wasted, but
Also
you always
naħseb
learn a lesson.
the timing, il-fat li inti safdaqqa waħda you're entering.
Literalment. So I didn't think too much of it. So il-ġejt bejt nprova nkixxija b'kull mod possibbli. Fimt, tipo this is hilarious as well. Mela, il-kanter għandhom iż-żafżafa. Okay, taf li mu l-instrument ta' żafżafa. I mean, it's meant to look ħamallu l-instrument.
Dak il-video tijak, cut to the video.
That was one of the messages illi ġejt til-fetish out li ftiċċetta ġejdu batituli għaxli out of practice isek. U jinti po, I think she's trying to fish to see if I'm still interested in women. U għettila naqa, tipo jien. Insomma, it was So, I didn't...
Rata ta' keke.
La rata kabum.
Thank you kantera ġifiri, basically.
Literalment. So, I was like, bdejt niprofa nkixxija b'kull mod possibbli, għettila jena waqaf noħroġ ma' nisa, għettila ġubajt, għettila kullħat l-istess, u hekk, so immaġina, jena kieku xaħat jgħidlek ngħid. Next. Tipo, anka, meta kont edha namel il-postcard Switzerland, ridet tiġi għalija, l-airport, għettila għettila xeda vera ħazin, għettila kif nider u hekk, għalli għam xur li tider tajba xorta tipo. Un bad baqtejt, ver nixtiq narak. U għettila ħan iġib il-karozza, ħina jgħidlek hello. Għalli ma tarax, għaddek tiġi għalli kun jetlag u hekk. U għalli ħan iġijin. Vendikazzjoni xar mdelka bizzejt, bla make-up, bit-tracksuit.
Dik kienet l-ewwel darba li tqajtu ġifieri.
It-tieni darba ġiet mort ħdejja bil-karozza tila hello, daqshekk nothing much. Imma jina very outspoken, so fil-karozza kontettila, jien n-nisisni nifanzjak ta' għajt li wissa ma dekx għat fil-sa naraw. U insomma, mort, u għajt li ħanġi għalik, u xej, għamilt make-up xej, ġifiri kif kont, kif bqajt. U għajt l-ġiri rajtu di ring. Għajt toħroġ minn ġo television, għajt l-issa ħirġa minn ġo il-flat. Tara ġeja! Insomma, so jek il-tajt ma ġejt l-ewel darba meta bisna xurxin u so it was funny. Imma she's so special, honestly.
Inselmulek minna.
Inselmulek, sinjura. Imma le, she's very special. U jien għettila, inti taf fiex inti diħla, għettila I will be unavailable most of the time. Għettila, so make sure that you're ready for this commitment. Tila xin ħajkun hemm ħafna ħin ma nkellmekx, ħaniltaqa' ma' ħafna nies, ħanqatta' ħin ħafna ma' nies, ħajkun hemm contentek, għettila it's a lot. And it's not easy to be with a singer, u importanti ħafna li nejda. To be with any artist in general, it's not easy. Like, we're not the easiest to handle, to be fair. That is one. Imma, meta tkun taħdem fil-mużika, jew whatever, the film industry, late hours, performance, tagħmel ċertu affarijiet, forsi li jkunu provokattivi. So not having a supportive partner can fuck you up big time. Oh, I've had these experiences palma ġilietlek. So il-ġejda tila, make sure that if you're going to like walk into this, il-moment li ħana ra xi ħaġa li ma dduqlix għal widnejja, like red flag, I'm gonna like yeet, taf kif, għax too much għaddejt minn affarijiet, għax being with a singer, musician, artist is very, very difficult.
Naħseb issa mela, hopefully, qed jirnexxilkom ikolkom ħafna iktar ħin flimkien or not, or we're still working towards it.
Ħanejdlek, I think, tipo, this is not gonna change for now, for sure. Tipo, issa kelli tour, Mortal Prides, u hekk, it's still not over yet. The late hours, the performances, blah, blah, blah. Imma, I consider Jade as a part of my team as well, għax xi sa tagħmel ħafna.
Which helps.
Eżatt. So, u t-tim ħobbu għammen, so tista' timmaġina qiegħda u t-tim kif qedtilhom isma' tkellimni waħda għamlu li hekk. She's gonna be a cloud chaser u probably għax irbaħt u hekk. U mbagħad qedtilhom ħaniltaqa' ma' ħanara, xi nkun qed nara l-ewwel, qedtilhom leta, qedtilhom naħseb tgur le. So, it-tim ħobbu ħafna l-ġejd u anka eżempju pre-party tella ta' Amsterdam, emmek, Basel kienet emmek, kienet torqot miegħi fil-hotel, tipo, she was there all throughout. Jekk ħtafta, jekk kpejt, jekk kont hungry, jekk kont angry, jekk kont ferħana, she was there all throughout. U qatt ma qalt li tponti bis-serjetà, qatt. She was just there. U vera, hija xi ħaġa li napprezza ovvjament, għax literally I was very difficult to handle at times throughout this experience. Clearly it was stressful. So for someone to stick by you is very difficult. So ma we do find time. Ma xi kollu miegħi, ġifieri ċertu postijiet li mmur, events, rehearsals, I mean kull min ikun hemmhekk jaf. Rehearsals dejjem tiġi. Music video eżempju konna vera fil-bidu, like dating vera fil-bidu, palma spjegajtlek. Kienet tip emmek jinnna f'eżempju xena ta' ċimiterju that was it was cold, kien hemm ħafna bart. U ġiet hemm u baqazza l-aħħar. Dejna mur id-dar. U ditta milli all right.
Somma hi footballer. Għandha l-istamina u toħod.
Naqa. Għandhom jilabu fix-xita u hekk.
Għalet. Fix-xita għamel, għax inti naħseb ħali tħobb ix-xitwa aktar mis-sajf. Ma ħiet intefan qabel kutra u
bit-testa tal-toħroġ barra u tiżellex.
Speċjalment inti if you need to keep the mugging.
Setting spray.
Is-sajf ta' Malta.
Naqa ta'.
Naqa gravi. How has it been also li tinsaqsik after Eurovision? Ovvjament the hype was still there u diġa kellek opportunitajiet u oħrajn ġejjin. Ma nafx, how has it been seeing the impact and the fact that, you know, the song is still very much alive and...
I think it's still all very surreal. Jina qatt ma kelli ċans tipproċessa l-emozjonijiet tiegħi. Like from the beginning of this journey to God knows when. Għax anka ma kellix ċans war l-Eurovision nistrieħ jew hekk, għax mal-ewwel morna tours bejn il-pjanaw għall-MTV, minn ħaġa l-oħra. You always have to go with a concept in mind. Outfit, kif għad pjana l-performance. Eżempju, meta morna Zurich kien sarta kien nem sisa l-wieħed to plan, toħroġ bil-band. Taf xed ngħid. So it's always very mentally stimulating, ħin kollu. And you never rest. Inti taf pali, meta tkun inti freelancer jew self-employed, xin ovvjament tista' full-time music qiegħda.
Kif tkun kwiet?
You have to chase.
Xi ħaġa oħra wkoll tiġik mu.
Ommi dejjem għall-mitni, ma tistax tistenna l-bajtra taqaf ħalqek. Allura, hekk bil-missek tagħmilha sticker dik.
True. Nitċak jek kem xaħtiħor.
Tistenni.
Speaking of mommy, kem randomly, f'da kollu li ġara insomma fi żmien Eurovision, one of my highlights kienet li Mama Conte followed me on Instagram, all right? U meta nitfaxaħ, għax ovvjament il-ħin kollu nitfaxaħ fuq Mirjana, throughout these past few months, tibat li l-hearts u daw, thank you.
Li kemm iħobbok li vera, inti dejjem insemmi kuman nies ngħid inti kont parti mit-team tista' tgħid għax you were there to support, vera, I really appreciate, għax kif qed ngħidlek meta jkollok nies fil-bidu li jemnu fik u inti pre-kant, dejjem kont.
Imma naf kemm għaddejt minn affarijiet u naf ukoll how stressful this all was. U kont ngħid let her breathe. Għax naf li kien hemm żgur perjodi fejn ma kellek għab titkellem il-ħadd u ġen u daw f'daqqet tinbidel id-diska u mbagħad qed jiġri hekk.
Ovvjament, ma kienx ikollok.
U ma kienx ikollok ċans
kellem in-nies, and this is something as well I would like to mention. Kien hemm ħafna nies ħadu għalihom jew inqataw għax ovvjament ħasbuni li I'm snobbing and I'm not texting back. Jiena biss kelli 3 persuni fit-team li kienu charge tal-mobile tiegħi. I had social media management and marketing. So literally, jiena kienu joħdu li l-mobile minn idejja. So any messages, any stories, any posts, they were all screened tipo. So, inti ovvjament li tittara mhux għandek kulħadd ikollu ħafna messaġġi, probabbli, fimt minn tax-xogħol, minn ta' sħabu, minn tal-familja, imma immaġina ikollok ta' sħabek, tal-familja, tal-Maltin li huma fans u tad-dinja kollha li huma fans. Tistgħu timmaġinaw il-mobile, jiena ġifieri għandi settings speċifiċi li ma jtellaw li notifications kollha.
Alla ħares.
Jiena ġifieri l-unika notifications li nirċievi are for people that I follow back. Biss. U ġiri ma jitlawx ukoll, so thank God for that. Għax gravi, il-mobile bida jgħallu l-batri, il-mobile ġdejt, kont ħan iġġennen. Nidhom kif jista' jkun daw l-affarijiet. Mbagħad kienu għamlu li settings u hekk, so it wasn't me ignoring people but I did not have time or the mental capacity if I had time. Meta kien ikoll il-ħin, I used to vocal rest, I used to either be in the room with Pam, vocal training, jew qed nagħmlu rehearsal. I did not have 5 minutes of peace. And this was tipo literally sleep deprivation
u constant.
Mela, u trauma meta tiġi wara l-Eurovision ukoll. Jiena ġejt bellaħta ġifieri wara l-ġejna minn Basel. Għax jiena kont norqod xi l-4 ta' filgħodu nqum fil-5 nagħmel il-makeup. Jiena ħin nistrieħ ma kienx ikolli. Fimt, and sometimes I had to miss out on the fun stuff. Eżempju, Basel li kellna waħx. Allura kienu eżempju jaqsmu l-border, ġannu hekk u li jennu t-tim u Stella, u kienu eżempju jmorru Franza jew Ġermanja jiklu. I couldn't. If I had time to rest. Għax most of the time where the singers were resting, I was doing content.
Yeah.
Vote for Nanta, please. Number 9 in the final, please.
Jikun meta jidla video ngħid Madonna mi. Who nifs? Imma you had to.
So when other artists were sleeping, I was most probably doing content. So I had to miss out on all the fun stuff. Anka dakinhar tal-final marru jiċċelebraw it-tim tiegħi. Meta ngħidlek taf x'qed ngħid
ma s-saħħa naħseb ma kellek.
As in physically tkun very vivid, imma l-moħħ meta ngħidlek it was fried jisek daħħaltu ġo deep fryer, kont naf x'inhu jiġri. Isni qed nara film minn għajnejja. Fimt, very
Surreal.
Ija. Allura, I was resting when I had the time, I was resting. Anka ġejd, eżempju, ġejda lek ma spiċċat kienet tiġiħin kollu l-hotel Basel. Għax ma konċ nkellim, ma kienx ikolli ċans, fimt? Il-ftit ċans li kien ikolli, eżempju, minn venju għall-ieħor, kont nċempilla bil-kamera nidila nurjax il-bist u hekk jew waqt li qed il-lesti.
Ovvjament, seeing everything you've gone through u l-ġen kollu l-inqala dis-sena, and I try not to get emotional about it, imma inħoss li qabel dis-sena qatt ma ġejt apprezzata kif ħaqqek tiġi apprezzata.
Ija, vera, vera.
U naħseb kif qed tgħid inti wkoll anke jien ovvjament jiena I've been very vocal u nipprova, taf kif kull meta kważi kull jum naħseb bdejt nitfa' xi storja li b'xi mod kellha x'taqsam miegħek, imma wkoll għax bdejt nieħu gost nara nies minn kull imkien ta' ġifieri li qas kienu jafu bik, li they are latching on to this. U bdejt ngħid, tara ħi. Imma mbagħad at the same time qed fl-aħħar, it reminded me anka lija li jiena ġieli wkoll. I try to be ambitious u jkollok il-ħolm u kemm nixtieq u mbagħad tgħid imma nkun realistiku imma mbagħad once you give it time it will come back.
Naqbel miegħek 100% and I had given up on my dream like ages ago. It hits you li inti meta tikber eżempju like there are people you look up to. Kont nħares Lady Gaga ta' Seven niftakarni ċara bil-qeda, il-computers kienu għadhom ta' dinosaurs ngħidulhom jien, il-kbar. Nara Love Game, nanna tajjat miegħi, ġeddi ċara! U jiena ħalqi miftuħ, I was so impressed by Gaga, by Beyoncé, and I grew up in that era tipo. U kont ngħid, your dream tells you, inti xi darba tkun bħal Lady Gaga, your dream xi darba tkun bħal Beyoncé. But then you hit your teens and you're like, fuck, I'm not going to be like Lady Gaga because you realize that you're in Malta. Opportunities are limited, opportunities are fixed as well. Jkun hemm ħafna dbabis u jkun hemm ħafna fottimenti. Dik il-verità, imma ir-realtà qiegħda kullimkien fid-dinja.
Imma hekk inħossu naħseb kollox to an ultra times 10 times 11.
Tħoss iktar, għax aħna ġo d-dinja konta tal-abra.
Yes.
Fimt, jekk if an opportunity is fixed in America, you have other options where to go. If an opportunity is fixed here, where go? Nowhere. Allura, so it hit me very early in life illi tipo, dude, you might do Eurovision here, you might do X Factor, you're never gonna win. Actually, even the way we look at artists here is very sad. And I cried my eyes out like for a lot of months, sipo, fej ma rridx inkanta iktar, but you cannot stop something jekk inti twelid bija fil-verità. Imma kont ngħid, I have to be skinny to be someone here. I have to be blonde to be someone here. I have to sing pop if I want to be someone here. I cannot be my complete self if I want to do something. So I tried for a long time to be someone I'm not. I wore what was in fashion, jekk kien hemm fil-moda l-fila nixxi l-fila, jekk kien hemm fil-moda li tixxi l-Adidas Superstars tixxi l-Adidas Superstars, jekk kien hemm fil-moda tagħmel traqqaq l-eyebrows u jiena dejjem twilid bl-eyebrows ħoxnin, irraqqaq l-eyebrows dejjem rid inkun bħan nies. U kont ngħid jiena x'jista' jkun ħajjagħmel differenti? Like what can make me different? What can it be? Kont ngħid there's tipo having a good voice is not enough. It will never be enough. Fimt, jiena ra ħafna kantanti hawn Malta, issa wara li għaddejt l-esperjenza, tgħid wow kemm għandha leħna sabiħ. Is she an artist? Is he an artist? No. So I was stuck in that loophole jiena, fej kont nipprova nidher u nagħmel bħal kulħadd. But what will make you stand out? Imbagħad kont nipprova nistudja lili nnifsi, which is very weird. Kont ngħid x'inhu li jagħmilni differenti? U li kien jagħmilni differenti huwa li ġo kamra nies kulħadd ħajħares lejja biex jismani u jitħaq. Jiena naf indaħħaq. I'm a funny girl, I'm a funny person, and I've always been.
Funny gal.
Funny girl, funny island girl. Imma actually, ġifiri anka ġo in a classroom, in college, meta kont immur privat, dejjem dik li d-daħħa. Jekk noħorġu, kulħadd kien, everyone craved my energy because I make people laugh. So if I put this part of me and actually show it to people, like I place it and I show it to the world, that's what I needed to be different. Be me. Be who I am. Nothing more, nothing less. If I like to wear leopard, I will wear it. If I'm a bit bigger in size and I want to wear a leotard on stage, I will wear it. If I want to dye my eyebrows blonde and right now they're giving zebra, I will leave them zebra. Taf xet ngħid? I just stopped caring what people think. And I was me.
But yes, speaking of 8, I8, inti ktibta qabel Eurovision, u xek.
Jumej qabel ma tlaqna Basel, il-rekordjajnija.
In full how it was, jom, but spiċċat it went through...
Ovvjament, then it needed to be mixed and mastered, mal-vocals rekordjajnijom qabel ma morna Basel. And we had the base of the song ready.
Studenta hiblejt.
Naħlef.
Student.
U, oħra. Darb meta minna tarvawt formal ta' place. Il-parrokka stella mnitli 8 fuq qabel Frenza. Naħlef men.
Why? Mazzni.
Why? The points. So.
8 points. If foreigners are watching us and you could have voted that night.
I think there was something funny, Shorta.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, clearly. Me and Erika Vickman and Justina not in the top 10.
True. That was
Weird,
a choice, as they say. Choices.
It was very weird.
Yes. Għandek bżonn Spotify playlist ġdida? Għadna kemm ħloqna il-Pop Girlies playlist li ma tinkludix l-episodji li qed noħorġuhom li dawk tistgħu wkoll tisimgħuhom Spotify, però tinkorpora fiha diski li għandhom x'jaqsmu ma' kull episodju. Hemmhekk tistgħu ovvjament issibu diski tal-artisti u kantanti li ġew bħala mistiedna sissa fosthom Sara Bonnici, Maxine Patch, Claudia Faniello u oħrajn, imma hemm ukoll diski ta' artisti kemm Maltin u barranin li b'xi mod nirreferu għalihom u niddiskutuhom waqt l-episodji. Barra minn hekk jekk tidħlu tisimgħu issa, jaf ukoll ikun hemm daqsxejn ta' ħiel ta' min ser ikun qed jiġi fl-episodji futuri ta' Pop Girlies. Allura kull m'għandek tagħmel huwa tidħol Spotify u tfittex Pop Girlies jew inkella se nagħmlulkom QR code hawnhekk biex issibuha aktar malajr. Jien għandi xi ħaġa speċjali għal Mirjana sewwa. Bil-evolution tal-stickers sewwa. Għanna il-ballun ir-roza u għanna bil-kontra. Għanna l-ajjejt, dawk it-nej għalik.
Cute!
Issa. Għalla, immaġina, xinu r-rigal ta' Mirjana, żewġ stickers? Le. Għalix?
Dat tin rigali vera.
Mela, hi. Basically, xtaqt, it had to be done. Din naħseb rajta inti.
Rajta!
That is the original artwork, just for you.
Oh, I love it. Il-lallu, ben, tafax noqs.
So, kif kontet tgħid li qabel programm mela tattoos li jmiss, you can start ticking them off.
Panti.
You can start ticking them off from the artwork.
Lallu ġbaz. Nanna's gonna love this in the house, eh?
Ooh.
Oh my God.
So, that is from me to you.
Thank you, ħafna. Vera napprezzaħum dawn l-affarijiet. I'm not a gift girl, ma bżaj jkunu like affarijiet mamulin mill-qalb.
Le, imagine, I was like, that was those stickers, you're welcome.
Xorta napprezzaħum.
U le, naf, imma, taf kif? It had to be done. We tried to do a slight pop quiz, but now it's turned into like other games, etc. Le, bażikament, jiena nħoss li inti għandek ħafna potenzjal biex tikkollabora ma' ħafna artisti. Jiena ddeċidejt li naqbad ma miltomx kollha, sorry, I had to be a bit biased. Għamilt lista ta' ħafna mill-kantanti li kompetew miegħek.
Okay.
Because you went through the trauma during the semi-final fej ma nafx għalfej itellaw tlita minn nies u jgħajtu l-isem u inti ovvjament ħallew kall-aħħar.
Na'am. Apparently, you know why? Because my face makes very good
Mux
television.
ekku.
That's why.
But they were like, ejja nitfawa ma tnejn li żgur mhux ħajaddu, sorry. Fl-aħħar,
Jien kollu xinsejt, għirra.
għax basic l-aħħar biċċa kienet inti Georgia Montenegro et jekk if they are about imma if they are about ovvja, imma if they are about to do this right now it's gonna be a bloodbath. Imma le, bażikament għamil din lista ħan nippruvaw naraw kif ħana, insomma naħseb hopefully mhux tkun daqshekk diffiċli. We need to find your next collaborator.
Okay.
It's gonna be Mirjana Conte featuring
Someone.
So, basically għamiltom fl-lista, I randomized them u ġewni wara xulxin blood dodge and we're gonna go through them 3 by 3.
Okay.
It's giving tournament.
By elimination.
Eżatt.
Okay.
So, you know, very Jade Flask, ħanamlu tournament sewa. Sakemm we get to the hopefully issa naraw. First trio, naħseb, I know what's gonna happen. Zoe May, Switzerland, Kai ta' Sweden, u Sisal, Denmark.
Sisallu.
Mela dik waħda.
Ovvja.
Għazinnija, ding ding ding.
Tafx liħen għanda dikin.
Immaġna kikun ma ziltix.
Belħek. Immaġna, tisal.
Sisal, she was about to not choose you, no, it's not true. She chose you immediately. Immediately. Next three. Vibe, Iceland. Think about collaborator as well. Please, if you're watching, actually, we should slip in a bit of English so I understand what the hell is going on. If you are one of these artists, this is a collaborator, it's not necessarily friendship or who she likes and doesn't like. So, Mela, Vibe Iceland, Red Sebastian, Belgium, Laura Thorne, Luxembourg.
So, issa Sisal.
Yes, dika intazlet, so she will move on. Sisal, you have moved on to the next stage of the competition. Vibe, Red Sebastian, Laura Thorne.
Issa taf naħseb Red Sebastian, imagine
I knew you were gonna say that. I think style-wise, it would work.
Naqa.
Yes. Yes. Mela dak wieħed. Also, Red Sebastian was robbed, in my opinion.
Same.
I was shocked because I think that was wara li rajtom ta' dik is-semi-final, he was my number 1 in that semi-final.
Nostra, vera.
So I was very
He's so sweet. Taf ma ninxepu ħafna Malti ma' Stefan.
True. Pala karattru.
Ija, they're very, very similar. Like, kien ifakkarni ħafna f'Stefan, kont Basel.
Like, chill ma fl-istess ħin eżatt, very
He's
nice.
such a nice guy, ħafna.
Mela, Red Sebastian moves on to the next stage. We have Clement, Slovenia, Luan, France, u Justina, we just mentioned her, Poland.
Justina, definitely.
Ma nistax ndu self.
Neħel, sorry.
Neħel.
Imma,
We are limited.
Please note, these are all my friends, but
Yes.
it's not a friendship thing, it's a collaboration thing. So,
But Justina.
Dik bisitni fuq xuftejja ta' dik mara miġnuna ta' 53 ta'
Astra.
biex tgħid li baj, my daughter għalt laqbditni
Ara,
l-winċi u
xeħlew.
bisitni fuq xuftejja.
Xeħlew.
Idbo. Okay.
Stena, xiejdu għaxina mort Poland. Mux dopro veċe, dak mux Polish, ma nafx, sorry. Insejt, xi darba konna kif tgħid goodbye u thank you in Polish, imma nsejt.
Jina in Polish nafnejt zloti. Il-flus.
Tajja.
Zloti.
Jina pierogina, fax kienu vera tajbin.
Stren kont vegetarian dak iż-żmien. I couldn't experience the glory of pierogi.
Sa, go
Kont
to
ma
Justina's
nafmelhomx.
house.
Ija. Jasra, she bought me a handbag, ta. I saw her with a leopard handbag and I was like, wow, faqa. And she was like, I will get you one. Ma taf kif xaħat jgħid, bisson ġiblek waħda waqt ma tasal di
U vera.
Men, ġid ġo lift miħaj u tatni fil-bag bil-handbag ġo fija, I got it from Poland u dam xie 4 tiem biex wasal. Batitu ma xaħat, għabba kem apprezzajt. Vera helwa, vera helwa. She's such a nice woman.
Is in. Next. Ooh, this is fun. Klavdia, Greece.
Aha, kemmi helwa. Kolla helwin.
Prince, Serbia.
Aha.
U Una diva. Melody. Spain.
Claudia.
Estra.
Ija. She's so sweet and she's an amazing vocalist, Claudia. Ħafna, ħafna, ħafna.
Poderos. Leċi.
Poderosa.
Sorry. Disculpa, Melody. Soy una diva sfaliente, poderos. Xej, et infarra.
Pomodoro.
Pomodoro. Next, ok, din naħseb ovvja wkoll. Mela, Zifferblatt, Ukraine, Catharsis, Lithuania, or Kyle.
Kyle.
Kyle,
Ovvja.
kella ma jkellmek iktar.
My
Alright.
boyfriend.
We're going through these. Ok, din interessanti. Kombinazzjoni ġewek, we have two duos.
Okay.
Aborjutina, Germany, Xkodra, Albania, u Gabri Ponte, tutta l-Italja, tutta l-Italja.
Germany.
Jienet forsi tmur għal Gabri Ponte għax taf kif għandu l-hits u hekk u tgħid forsi jkollkom naqadan sit flimkien imma t-make sense.
Imagine ma Germany makes sense as well. Nah.
Naqajek, naqa Berlin, naqa
Yeah.
naqajek. I don't know what to say, to explain
No,
it. Għax,
okay.
le, I don't know if I have a crush on both of them at this point. Iħel one mens.
Jiena gravja, għettila sigur boyfriend. Please, no skonna tilajna l-fleck parade, għax
God.
għax dak edunna l-bnadar mal-ħajt u kullħat tisib postu għalli li tilaw in order tipo.
Ma kienx l-ewwel darba naħseb li tajt magħhom.
Mux ovvja li le, ġitni ġoja.
Sure, okay.
Għettila sigur boyfriend. Għalli, he's my brother. Tila, oh, sorry.
We do not do that in this country or in any country.
Kellek Eurovision crush.
Dis sena,
Eħe.
qed nipprova naħseb, għax kien hemm nies ħelwin. Jien tu biveru naħseb kont batlu message għandu kun għamilli like għax kien għadu fil-bidu. Jiena vera nara l-JJ Gustus. Issa jiena
He is actually.
I'm usually anti-tip normalment, immandu xaħa, ovvjament naħseb il-talent u kol jidħol, tar-artist, ħafna talent, immandu xaħġa naħseb il-personalità u gustus u kol. Ma nafx għalfej.
Personality is everything.
Yes.
Ta' jindajem nejda, vera l-ewel ma ti kollajn jew xtejt kif tejda.
X'inhi?
L-ewel ma ti kollajn. Ti koll. Ma
tikol,
nafx. Anyways. Ajjejt, għawt naħdim. Lej ma Eurovision crash was Claude.
Lallu, ok.
Imma ġmil ta' raġel, Like,
Gustus imma mux li.
Wicċu isu mux ta' vera, isu Blair brush mamul wicċu. Isu
Gustus.
filter wicċu, wicċ imbwieċet nejdlek,
Gustus imma mux li jeċitani, ħanejt.
Ħelu ħafna. He's
Kienem
beautiful.
ta' qed niprofa naħseb. Tal-Armeni għandu xi ħaġa ma straight ħafna u mbagħad jiena mbagħad meta jkun hemm dak l-aspett u mbagħad titkun naqa feasible u taf kif, I mean il-crash at least mhux qed għax li għax inħares lejn l-istat ngħid hemm xi ħadd ieħor imma dawk ta' naħseb. Dawk naħseb vera li kelli crash. Insomma, waqafna mela Germany għaddejn, l-allu xinnejt le, l-allu nsejtu, sorry, I forgot about you, I'm gonna switch to English now so that you understand what I'm saying. Għax to be fair, fil-bidu qabel ma bdejtu propja Eurovision sew, innotajt li dis-sena ħajjerġa' jkun hemm pas-sena l-oħra li jkun hemm il-grupp The Cool Kids of Eurovision, kind of.
alright.
U kont it-tegjajt xi 9-10 minnkom u nofsin nisrawa. U da kien il-wieħed li he actually replied and he was like, I would love that. So Adonis ċekja, sorry sisal, imma he was the crush.
Ġmil ta' raġel kbir. Ġmil dak tfajl.
Titħares, imma aħħon.
Ija qabadni xaġa fon dak meta kont inkellmu. Dak kellna boat tour tal-Eurovision flasġija kienet. U sellajna dak il-video, jisna ta' Titanic. Tittar comments tal-Maltine. Rajta d-barri għal taħħa, murejdilom dajħob banana qasnejdilkom kem. Imma, kiku ma tkunx taf xi kollok.
Malti du għawċin, nofs l-artisti li morru l-Eurovision.
Ikunu gay,
Sewa?
literally. U ikunu xisiru.
Eżatt. Which is probably why also he was JJ Gustus ħafna, imma Adonis, it's like, Adonis, it's the name,
Ija.
You know, hemm id-daqna, like,
It's the whole thing. No.
So anyway, għax kompletament insejt it-nej l-oħra li qegħdin suppost miegħu li tittażel bejnietom. Mela Adonis, Nina tal-Montenegro, għamda Nina hekk, għax għandha ħajja ma ngħidux kun huma. U di ħanaraw. Remember Monday.
Remember Monday.
By Adonis. I can have you instead.
I love them all again, imma Remember Monday, I think, tipo, imagine there would be a serving country mixed with Remember Monday.
Out soon on Spotify.
Imagina. Like, that would be hot.
Remember Monday, if you are watching us. Please. Please. Mela, ħanaraw.
Fun fact, jinħob nistona. Meta like, mux actually niprofa nkanta tajja kun
Jina nħob nistona meta
Purposely. Kem nuħu pjaċir, madonna, eżempju karaoke, meta nħob istra.
Oderos!
Ek.
Sabiħa li dik l-istunar taħħam, bat nprova jena. Minni xon niprofa. Okay, daw it-tlieta interessanti. Tommy Cash, Estonia, Marko, Croatia, JJ, Austria.
Għax, mela. Collaboration and concept-wise, I would choose Tommy. He's very much
And
me.
she wants those streams.
He's very much me. Fimt, għax he has weird ideas.
Yes, very weird ideas.
Lily, and I think there's something you don't know. Like, I don't know if I should say it. Għandu music video for Pornhub. Sex Olympics.
Mela, ħan fittix.
Actually, like, go look it up.
Damn.
Like, he's so fucked in the head. Lily, I would love to do a collaboration with him. So, for that reason, Tommy.
It's giving, how do I put this? It's giving being high, but creative at the same time.
Tipo, mhuwiex laqwa kantant
To
tad-dinja.
be fair, it's giving your visual at the end of your performance in Switzerland when I see all those leopards on the balls and I was like, I am high right now,
Ija.
but I've never been high in my
Ija.
life.
I think this is what feels like li huwa LSD, per eżempju. Fimtini wkoll qatt ma drogi.
So instead you collaborate with Tommy Cash.
You don't take drugs, you make drugs. I made
No,
drugs.
don't. You make, metaphorically.
I visually made drugs on stage. Ha, tajjeb.
Yes.
Imma, anyways, mela.
So-
For that reason, Tommy, but vocally, JJ. So, I'm gonna go with JJ.
She doesn't want to break off the Beauty Blender friendships. They are so far all into the next stage. So, this is our version of football. So, għaxin inti ġifiri semmejt insomma football, whatever, tfajli fil-football u sem ġejt. Imma you are a football person, jew us.
I had to be, għax mistiri Napolitan, u Napolitani u ossessjonati b'Maradona, ġifiri id-dar Tommy u ta' mistiri there's a whole shrine ta' Maradona.
Damn.
Ġifiri ritratt ta' Maradona, kuruna ta' Rizarju Bluna, bubblehead ta' Maradona, energy drink ta' Maradona li qatt ma nfetaħ, frame ta' Maradona, hemm ħafna affarijiet ta' Maradona.
This is the first I've ever heard
Ija.
li Maradona would be the shrine.
Le. Fulon u Napoli, somewhere Napoli. There's like a pjazza dedikata għalih.
Istra?
Ximkien id-dadi għalli li jem like a whole vase bl-ara u bid-muħ tijaw għandu kun xaħġa. Li they're obsessed, tipo għalihom anka meta kont immur għal xi eżami għaw l-Eurovision jew hekk kien jgħid li nitlob il-Maradona għalik, mhux
Tipo,
nitlob l-Alla.
Aħna għanna Lajli Montezin u mandom il-Maradona.
That is his god. So, kelli nkun mux fanatika tal-futbol, imma l-ħares ma nżomx mux li mux in-Napli jew l-Italja, fimta.
Fair. Le, xina football xejn, so this is my version. This is our tournament. Next three, semmejnieh. Claude, Netherlands. Dġa da sek, l-oħrajn jistaw ikunu minn ikunu. Napa, Portugal, the band. U Theo Evans, Cyprus.
Claude.
Nimxu ħin. Nimis, good choice. Erika. Daw kif ġew nirrendim li sewa. Parg, Armenia, dak li semmejt Gustus. U Gojo, Australia. Għax kif kienet.
Again.
It's-
Mux laqwa kantant, but he's weird and twisted in his ways. And he's a very nice guy ukoll. So, I would choose Gojo for that reason, but Erika is my sister, so I would love to do a collab with Erika for sure. So Erika.
U l-axħar tlieta lissa, Emi, Ireland, Lucio, Italy, u daw belħunijena, they became like one of my favorites, fateh, kienu top 5 tiegħi. Taw Tomatoes, Latvia, the girls.
RJ Domli.
Emi, Ireland,
Eh,
Lucio Corsi, Italy. Taw Tomatoes, Latvia.
Lucio.
I had a feeling you would
Ija.
go for that.
Ija.
ċaġa naqa differenti. He is a bit quirky as well.
He is, actually. That's why I would choose, I would love to do something gek. Xi darba.
Out of the box
Ija.
with him.
Ija, ija.
Good choices. Issa, rridu nibdew naqtaw. Issa jien ħanamelhom tlieta wkoll. So
Ija.
this is gonna go a bit fast, naħseb. Sisal versus Red Sebastian versus Justina. Go.
Sisal.
We're gonna have a 4-part feature beauty blender edition. Next 3. Mela, you chose Claudia, Greece. We have Kyle. And we have Aborentina.
Kyle.
Okay. Issa, next. Okay, let's see. Mela, we have. Mela, stanna mis. Remember Monday, JJ u Claude. You are about to break someone's heart.
This is so hard. Remember Monday, JJ or Claude. JJ.
San raw minn ħataqta minn daw, mela, you're doing this to yourself. Last set and then we're going to need to go back. Erika u Lucio.
Erika.
Mela, all right. Mela, basically, as expected, we have our finalists. We have all 3 beauty blenders. Sisal, Kyle, and JJ, and we have Erika. So, basically, fil-verita, if we had to go about it, we would have to do the first 2 against each other. So, Sisal versus Kyle.
Sisal.
Bye, Kyle. And JJ versus Erika.
Erika.
U issa se nagħmlu.
Erika.
So, okay, Sisal, you can have... Somma, tistaw jew tamlu like a bang bang Jessie J, Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande.
I know you want it.
Tara, il-high pitch. Jew x'kienet the Charlie's Angels. Lana Del Rey, Miley Cyrus u
Ija.
Ariana Grande. Sensija. It can be a,
Ija.
it would be a nice trio.
No.
To be fair, mux qed niftakar wara li għadda kollox intom it-tlieta spiċċajtu flimkien fid-dressing room.
Kos?
Tajtu twersu.
Vera. Issa Nina tella ritrat tagħna fid-dressing room, grazzi.
Thank you. Ta' Erika mitfuqa mal-artik.
Mara mġnuna ta' dik, kbira.
Imma hi kif ma ġiċ top 10, ma nistax nifhem.
Argue with the wall, it's giving same, na.
Waqt li kontet naraħ, jiena ġenwinament ħsibt li it was gonna be between her and JJ. I had this feeling, and then I was very wrong. I had this feeling, she gave me winner vibes.
Le, jina
Totali.
waqali ħallik frajt il-show taħħa. Et zguri tirbaħ. Zguri ġifiri għazbis kontet nikonsidra ħal-JJ ġorasi ximkien.
Istra?
Għax I was fixed on Erika, et zguri ħatirbaħ wara li rajt il-show, qabel ma rridx kolli bajis ta' xej. So, rrit nara shows ta' kulħadd, u Poland u kolli, kella show like jaqsamna. So I was like, it's gonna be a problem.
Jiena JJ kien dak li mill-bidu xin dejjem jiġri li wara li joħorġu diski kollha dejjem kien hemm dik il-waħda li tagħmilli xi ħaġa u naħseb għax kont għaddej ukoll minn żmien ikraħ.
Jista'
Dak iż-żmien kif smajt ta' JJ infqajt nibki ġrali l-istess b'Nimo s-sena l-oħra l-istess ħaġa.
Wow,
So
JJ leħnu mux ta' vera. I mean, beauty blenders koll għandhom leħnom mux ta' vera. Like, it's giving AI. My beauty blenders, their voice is AI. Like, it's so perfect. It's not even real.
So we're gonna see Mirjana Conte and Erika Vickman, and but we'll have the beauty blender foursome will still do
Yeah.
something. hopefully. Xi mist issa jiġifieri fil-verità for you, apart from semmejna hoopla, is there anything in the works? Indawru għana.
There is a lot of things in the works. I do want to collab with, so you might have or have not hinted something. Fis-sens, I really enjoyed Eurovision barra Malta, so I would really like to collab with some of these artists, actually like noħorġu diska. With the Beauty Blenders, it's more difficult, għax ovvjament kollha għandna schedule sana to create a song with 4 is
Tistaw toħorġu album at that point.
nah. So I'm also in the works to release either an EP or an album. I think it will be more of an album. And a lot of things in the pipeline as well. I want to continue the Kant legacy. What is very sad li rajt jiġri għaw Malta hija illi kantant Malta war li jitla l-Eurovision spiċċat ħajtu. Daqshekk you've reached your maximum in Malta and you're done. Ġifieri tmur tiġijiet, tmur gig l-emmulaw, jistidnu kullimkien, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You're set on that. But I want to change that. I think I managed to change a lot of things in Malta, and I want to show other upcoming artists and even artists present in the scene that you can do your maximum in Malta, but you don't have to stay here. And if you strive u jekk if you invest wisely, għax l-affarijiet il-flus għalihom. Like jien m'għandix tipo I was dejt nitkellem ma' l-management ta' Remember Monday qalu li ġifieri you don't have a booking agent, you don't have a manager, you don't have tilhom now, nothing.
I have a pink ball and a dream.
Literally. So it's harder for me obviously to make it. But I will never give up on my dream. Wara li għaddejt bil-Eurovision indunajt li the world is much smaller than I think it is and a lot of things are more tangible than I thought they were.
True.
So hopefully I will manage to reach these milestones bit by bit, bil-ftit li għandi, and hopefully we'll make big things.
You have the LGBT community of the world behind you at this point. Għax ġenwinament l-ammont ta' nies li tqajt magħhom li daw Eurovision xej, għas idea. Mbagħad jgħidulek surfing Kant. So it's meant to be.
It's insane. Tipo, I've had people stopping me at the airport, taking pictures with my tattoos. I've had people stopping me in London. I didn't have any makeup on. They just recognize me, which is, I was like, oh, so mux Malta biss jarfuni barra minn Malta. I had people crying because they met me. It's undescribable, għax anka rċivejt ħafna messaġġi minn parents li għandhom eżempju tifla forsi aktar mibruma, nies li ilhom sentej ma joħorġu mid-dar u jibatu li thank you għax bis-saħħa tiegħek kullhom ħammur il-baħar. Thank you għax bis-saħħa tiegħek wara 3 snin ħirxt mid-dar. Thank you għax it-tifla tiegħi tgħid li meta tikber tkun bħalek u temmen iktar fija nfisha. And that is all the success I needed from this journey, that I changed people's lives, even though I got a lot of critique and hate. U l-aħħar ħaġa li rrid ngħid, like biex nagħlaq dis-sentenza, kollha nafu li riċentament kien hemm it-traġedja ta' Jan, tal-kuġin tal-Muxu. Jiena Facebook neħħejtu, ġifieri I've been like 4 months, 5 months without it, and I wouldn't change it, to be honest. I have a photographic memory, undu ngħid illi ħafna minn nies illi jidħlu fuq il-page personali tiegħi jaqlaw li fuq kollox li għandu x'jaqsam miegħi, fuq ħajti, fuq il-figura tiegħi, fuq l-eyebrows, fuq il-mod li nilbes. Kienu l-istess nies illi fuq post ta' Jan kummentaw qalu ja ħasra kemm kien għadu żgħir, kemm jiddispjaċini. I just want to speak directly to these people and say, you are the reason that people are driven to suicide, basically. So please, natu kas x'nikdbu, because we all say that social media fucked us up, but we are the ones fucking it up. Our lives are evolved with social media. L-lum il-ġurnata għandna smartwatch, nistgħu nagħmlu kollox bih, tista' tħallas, tista' titkellem, għandek mobile, għandek laptop, għandek television, kollox għandna. So our lives revolve around social media. Like it or not, tista' tagħmel bħali, tħassar eżempju Facebook, tħassar waħda from the many apps that we have. Però tista' wkoll trażżan il-sienek. Very, very, very simple. Jiena hemm ħafna affarijiet li nitħaq bihom jew li naraħħom ma jagħmlux sens jew li naraħħom koroħ. I just keep my opinion to myself.
Jew jekk vera tittisvoga, sib a very good friend of yours, jew xatt fil-familja, ejdomlu u daqshekk.
Literally. Jiena kieku tajt każ kwart u nibqa' ngħidha l-aħħar nifs li nieħu. Kieku tajt każ kwart tal-kummenti li kien hemm, kwart, anke messaġġi personali batuli ta'. Kieku tajt każ, kont nuri wiċċi il-bib il-barra, let alone inkanta u nirrappreżenta l-pajjiżi fuq stage bħal dak. So I was very strong and I literally did not give a fuck of what anyone thought and anyone wrote. Imma dik jiena u ċetta differenti, jiena u Peppina differenti, forsi Peppina tgħidlek ma x'mistħija kemm qed jgħajruni ma rridx nerġa' nuri wiċċi. And I will never stand for this qatt. So ħanibqa' ngħidha sakemm ninħanaq u nirrametti illi please oqgħodu attenti x'tikdbu. And no one gives a fuck about your opinion, quite frankly. And everyone is going to keep doing what they do. Jekk huma bħali, ma żomm f'moħħok illi jaf il-Peppina jew il-ċetta qed tfottilhom opportunità li jista' jkun jiffjorixxu f'ħajjithom and they become something just because of your comment. Thank you very much.
Grazzi. Tinħoss nisna qed nagħmlu għaw daw tal-presidential debates, hekk. Għalfejn għandhom jivvutaw lek in-nies.
Ħanejdlek.
Jiena nixtieq nirringrazzjak ħafna. Nistgħu nibqgħu għaddejjin ta' ġifieri.
Literally tul never end.
Nagħmlu hawnhekk sal-lejla. Jiena nixtieq nirringrazzjak ħafna tal-li ġejt. Iffittajtek kemm flaħt imma rid tintik dan l-episodju għax ovvjament anka jiena, there were humble beginnings, you know, qed nippruvaw nikbru bil-mod il-mod. Napprezza meta nies bħalek u oħrajn kantanti, eccetera, oħrajn li għandhom platform, eccetera, qegħdin jaċċettaw li jiġu ovvjament jgħinu lili biex ikun hemm iktar viżibilità.
Kulħadd beda mix-xejn. Kulħadd beda mix-xejn. And you are the person, l-iktar persuna li naf actually, u nibqa' ngħidha that you actually support local talent. So you deserve this and so much more. So much more.
Napprezza ħafna. I will always be there as much as I can, meta jkollok bżonn. U again, very, very, not just proud of you, but I'm also very happy for you, genuinely, ġifieri, genuinament. Mela, biex ma nibkux, issa nagħlaq il-programm. Nixtieq nirringrazzjakom ovvjament tal-li segwejtuna, nerġa' nirringrazzja lil Jana's Jewelry tal-li sponsorjat dan l-episodju, grazzi ħafna Jana, u nirringrazzja wkoll il-InSync Spaces li nkunu qegħdin l-istudio saħħhom għal dawn l-episodji u finalment ukoll il-Paraskandalu li jissapportjana wkoll. Jiena narakom għal l-episodju li jmiss. Ciao!